Hello everybody, welcome to AstroEdify. We are going to discuss about a concept known as Ishta Devata in astrology. And what is Ishta Devata? How Ishta Devata is calculated? How Ishta Devata plays a significant role in a human's life? What is the significance behind it? And the rules which are there to calculate as per astrology, what could be the Ishta Devata for a person? How you have to apply it on a chart. We will apply it on a particular horoscope in order to understand practically that how it is calculated and known. So these are the things we'll discuss, and each and every planet represents a particular form of God, which is Ishta Devata. So what are those forms represented by each and every planet that we are going to understand. So let's start this video. If you want to book a consultation for yourself, you can go on this website. The link is shown in the description. So first of all, before moving ahead and knowing the rules and the techniques in order to find out the Ishta Devata through a chart, we are going to discuss what Ishta Devata means and what is the significance of that. So briefly, I'll just tell that Ishta Devata, according to the astrological principles, but as per the Sanatan Dharma, the Hindu Dharma, the absolute reality is one, which we call as Brahman, and it is Shuddh Satchidanand in absolute form, means pure existence, consciousness, bliss, beyond space, time and causation. It is one without the second, and it is infinite, non-dual. So that is the supreme reality. You can call it God, you can call it any other name, you can call it Shiva, Krishna, Devi, you can call it Allah, Jesus, whatever. Actually, Jesus was Son of God, but the point here is that you can give it any name whatsoever. In absolute terms, the absolute reality is one, non-dual, infinite, beyond space, time and causation, and we are that. Anybody who thinks differently is trapped in ignorance, ajnana, and that ignorance becomes the reason for suffering, dukkha. This is the main philosophy upon which Sanatan Dharma, Vedas are based. Advaita Vedanta is based, and most of the Eastern religions are based upon this concept. Okay, most of them. There are differences, of course, but most of them, they some or the other way in different terminologies, in different ideas, they are trying to say the same thing what I expressed right now. Now Ishta Devata means, see, it is a form of that pure consciousness only. Okay, so absolute reality is this what we described, but not everybody can grasp that what that absolute reality is and how I am that. So not every person is able to understand this, and even if somebody is able to understand this, the furthermore that you are able to live that with identification that okay, I am the Brahman, I am beyond everything, I am non-dual, I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this, not this. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody is of that high caliber of a yogi or a Brahmagyani. Very hard, very rare. So, for masses, for common population, for most of the people, and not only for most of the people, but also for the people who are adept in philosophical knowledge, for them as well, the concept of Ishta Devata is established. Because understand that in Hindu Dharma, there is a misconception that we have millions of gods. We don't deny with that, but it is not that we have different sets of gods and different sets of realities. No, reality is one, which I discussed right now. That is the main thing. That pure consciousness manifests itself in various forms. You, me, all creatures, different planets, solar systems, galaxies, all multiple universes, the things which you see and the things which you don't see, which are beyond your comprehension even, everything which exists is that Brahman. So you have to understand that the consciousness is manifesting itself, appearing it. I'll say all it is making itself appear in various forms. Huh? So now every individual will have affinity to connect with different forms, whatever feels best for you. Somebody has natural faith, natural liking, natural emotional connection with a particular form of God. It could be anything. But why that is? Horoscope tells us that some people, they are naturally driven towards a particular form of God. Why is that? Why a person naturally finds love towards Krishna? Why somebody has natural attraction towards Shiva, towards Devi, towards any god whatsoever? Not only Hindu gods, but any other culture also. I'm not going to discuss the other cultures here. We are strictly focusing on the terminologies as per the Vedic Dharma, Hindu Dharma. But what I'm talking about here is that horoscope tells us that what could be the Ishta Devata for the person very easily. And there are two significances behind it. One is on the spiritual aspect of life, which is the primary significance. See, the primary significance is to understand who you are. We are trapped in the world full of suffering. Everybody is experiencing it. And you, some or the other way, at any given point in life, everybody comes to a point of question that is this what life is, or is there something else beyond it? Is this what reality is, or there is something beyond it? Am I this body and mind, or I am something other than this? Is there a God, or that is just a fallacy or fantasy created by human mind? Is there any free will, or everything is predestined and universe is deterministic? These deep questions. And if God is a good God, why is there suffering in the first place? These questions, if any person has it at any given point in life, it means that planets are forcing you to move towards the spiritual life. Okay, so Ishta Devata plays a very vital role there, because it is that particular form of God. It's to give a simple analogy, it's like you cannot grasp water, but you can form of water or shape of water, because water is fluid. It can take any shape whatever it likes. But you can grasp a particular shape of water if it is frozen. Let's suppose there is an iceberg. So you can grasp, okay, iceberg is total water, but it is a frozen solid water. So now you can understand, okay, this is what water is. This is the shape, this is the thing. But when it becomes formless, so then it becomes actually what it is. Okay, so sometimes to comprehend the formlessness becomes very tricky, very difficult for us. So there is a easier way in order to reach, first of all, that what a particular form of that formless represents. And then once you grasp the reality of that form of the formless, slowly the form which you have devoted your life to, that only will take you to the absolute reality of formlessness. That was the concept. So in this case, first of all, Ishta Devata is important for the spiritual development of the person. And when I say spiritual development, is knowing yourself, who you are. Is there any meaning to life? Who you truly are? And is there any God? If yes, then what is the absolute reality and how it is, and how you are not different from the God? Not in this body and mind, not in the form of the body, but in the form of pure consciousness. There is no difference. That is Atma Jnana. So Ishta Devata plays a significant role in bringing that stage, helps the person to reach to that stage. Second is that it also helps the person in their material pursuits, but understand within the bounds of logic. Okay, so material pursuits, most of the people, they worship whatever, whether Hindu, whether any culture. Most of the people, common population, worships any form of God for their material prospects to fulfill. So it could be any form of God, that does not matter, but that is the main goal most of the time for prayers and everything. So material life also, in material life also, if there are certain problems going on because of certain planets, and you are not going through a good time, some tough times are going ahead, problems are happening, any issues are there which trouble you, some things you work really hard but you don't get. So Ishta Devata plays a role there also. The form of God plays a very vital role there also, in order to show you the pathways that okay, this is beneficial and move ahead, creating the resources so that you can move ahead. And obviously within the bounds of logic. When I say bound of logic, it means that worshipping Ishta Devata does not guarantee that okay, you are going to get whatever you feel like. No. Astrological planetary alignments, nobody can I'll say overpower it. Okay, because that logic is also created by that supreme reality only, which you call God. So I refrain from using the term God, I call the consciousness. So understand that that is only created the logic itself, and it cannot overpower its own logic, because everything, if it starts to do that, the every creation will fall apart. So the thing here is that planets are significant. If they have created the yoga, you have, and the result which is there, good or bad, what person has to face it, nobody can change it, but the intensity varies. And I've seen it many times that sometimes there are really challenging combinations which can create a lot of troubles to the person. But if they are seriously devoted, seriously inclined towards the spiritual life, religious life, and they have internal somewhat, I'll say, faith gradually towards higher reality, it transforms them and it transforms their lives in a positive way, of course. So in material pursuits also, the worship of the Ishta Devata plays a very vital role in order to fulfill the pursuits, material pursuits of the person, or help the person to overcome certain problems, whatever they are. But again, as I said, within the bounds of logic, not like that anything can happen, not like that. So these are the two significances behind Ishta Devata. Now, so Devata is a deity, a form of God. Ishta means the highest form of God for a person. Okay, because there are many forms. So what is the best one for the person according to the chart? That is the Ishta. And there are two categories, God and Goddess. So God is the male part, Goddess female part. That also we will discuss. But before that, how it is calculated in the chart, now we'll see that. So there are three rules, simple rules. First, you have to see three charts: birth chart, Navamsha chart, and D20, Vimshamsha chart. And in the birth chart, you have to look at that whether a person has a natural interest or inclination towards spiritual life, religion, culture, devotion, form of God, anything like that or not. If there is no inclination, then there is no point, because not everybody is very spiritually inclined or very religious or very oriented towards knowing thyself. No, most of the people, if they are materialistic, lost in Maya, fine, no problem. But the point I'm making here is that as Ishta Devata plays a role there also, because even if you are a materialistic person, but still worship of the Devata will help you no matter what. So the thing here is that first you check that whether a person has capability to have movement towards religion, faith, devotion, surrender, higher knowledge, wisdom, philosophy, anything like that. So from the birth chart you assess that, Navamsha chart you assess that. How? So they have to see certain planets, certain houses. The main houses are 1st, 5th and 9th house. First house is you yourself, your brain, mind, thinking, all those things, thoughts. 5th house is your buddhi, intelligence. 5th house is mantra. 5th house is the house of learning. And then 9th house is the main house of spiritual life, religion, culture, guru, teachings, devotion, surrender, bhakti, higher form of God, moksha, everything, 9th house. So 1st, 5th and 9th house. The planets which you have to see: Sun, Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, Ketu, and Ascendant Lord and Atma Karak. So Why these planets? Because Sun is first of all your natural Atma Karak. When I say Atma Karak, means the consciousness within you. If I take away the consciousness from you right now, you are dead. So the thing here is that you cannot deny the fact that consciousness is the reason why everybody is alive. So point here is that Sun is the natural significator of that consciousness within a person. Then Atma Karak is the planet with the highest degree in the chart, which represents the consciousness within the person. So these two planets play a very vital role. Then Moon, because Moon is your mind. Whether mind is interested in the spiritual life, these big thoughts, it has potential to think about the deep questions of life, or it will be engrossed, immersed in the material world completely. How the mind is. The Moon plays a very vital role. The Moon, how it is placed. Then Jupiter, Saturn, because Jupiter is the giver of knowledge. Jupiter is the name of God. Jupiter is the form of bhakti. It is the planet which represents bhakti. So Jupiter is religion, culture, faith, devotion, surrender, jnana, knowledge, wisdom, guru, teachings of guru, philosophy. That is all Jupiter. So you have to see these planets. And Saturn and Ketu, they are secondary because they are the planets of renunciation and everything, but they are secondary. These are the primary planets. So Ascendant Lord, Sun, Moon, Atma Karak and Jupiter. First, fifth and ninth house. You have to look at these placements in the birth chart and in the Navamsha chart. If these planets, whatever I said, they are in relation with each other, the lords of the first, fifth and ninth house are very well placed in the chart, in birth chart and in Navamsha chart. It means that person will be naturally, first of all, more self-aware, more dharmic. Dharmic means the affinity towards morality, ethics, values, principles will be higher. Natural interest toward knowing who am I, the big philosophical questions, existential angst will be there, will pursue knowledge in life. If these planets are important and well placed in the chart. Let's suppose the birth chart is not having very profound combinations, but Navamsha chart has. In Navamsha, same combinations are repeating the situations which I said to you. These planets, they are placed in Kendra houses. Dharma means first, fifth, ninth house or fourth, eighth, 12th house. Dharma Trikona, Moksha Trikona, well placed, and they are making good combinations in the chart in Navamsha. So what does it state? That okay, maybe in the first half of life, the person is not very much interested in spiritual life, religion, devotion, culture, whatever. But later in life, as they grow, as life moves on, it takes them with various transformations towards spiritual life. It develops a natural interest and a serious interest towards spiritual life. So that can also be seen, that if Navamsha is powerful, Lagna is not very powerful. It is not making such yogas. So later in life, the natural inclination can develop and it can be in a serious way. So you have to see, first of all, the interest, the level, the propensity, the capability of a person. Not everybody is of that level. So you have to see that first. Next, here you check the Vim Shamsha chart, D20. So how you have to, and in D20 also the same combination, same rule you have to apply. But now how you will calculate the Ishta Devata. So first you have to make out the planet which is mainly governing the Ishta Devata. So how you will do it is you first of all see two charts, Navamsha and D20, Vim Shamsha. So in Navamsha, take the Atma Karak, planet with the highest degree, see where it is placed in Navamsha, and where it is placed in Navamsha, from that wherever it is, whatever house, it does not matter. So from the Atma Karak placement in the particular house in Navamsha, see the 12th house from it, just the previous house. If any planet is placed in the 12th house from the Atma Karak in Navamsha chart, the planet which represents a particular form of Devata, that can be your Ishta Devata. Okay, let's suppose you have Moon as Atma Karak. It is in Pisces in Navamsha chart, and who is in 12th house from Pisces? Aquarius. If let's suppose Saturn is placed in Aquarius, who can be the Ishta Devata? Like Kali can be Ishta Devata, Hanuman can be Ishta Devata, Mahakal can be Ishta Devata, Shiva can be Ishta Devata. So that depends. So if let's suppose there is no planet, then you check that if any planet is looking at that house, you can take the Ishta Devata represented by that planet. Or if nobody is sitting there or nobody is looking at it, then what you take is the Lord of that house. Okay. Next, you check the Vim Shamsha chart. This is a very important chart. So in Vimshamsha, look at the planet which is the strongest, no matter where it is placed, 6th, 8th, 12th house, it doesn't matter. The main point here is the strongest planet in the Vimshamsha chart. If any planet is exalted, if any planet is in own sign, you have to understand that this planet which represents a particular form of God, that can be the Ishta Devata for the person, the main ruling deity for you, whose worship can give everything. So that can be taken. Now let's suppose if there are multiple planets which are exalted or they are known sign, then check who is the strongest among them. Let's suppose there are two planets which are exalted, but one of them is the lord of the 5th and 9th house. Then you will take the lord of that house, means that will become more strong. Okay. Or if nobody is exalted, nobody is in own sign in D20, then check the planets, and you have to check always the planets influencing the 5th house and 9th house. So planets influencing the 5th and 9th house, particularly the 9th house in birth chart, Navamsha chart and D20. So planets influencing the 5th house is the mantra, name of the god. 9th house is the form of the god. So 9th house and 5th house directly show the deity which is important for the person. Okay. So in birth chart, you see the yogas, what planet is coming out. In Navamsha, you check the planets, and you in D20, you check the planets. And there can be multiple Ishta Devatas also. There is a misconception there that, okay, there can be only one form of God for a particular person. Most of the time it is, but not every time. There can be multiple form of God also, which can naturally give you a devotion towards them. And that is the will of the Devata. That you have no control upon it. That will happen. If a horoscope is of that caliber, then it will be there. I've seen many times. The thing here is that there can be multiple Ishta Devatas as well, depending on the planets. I'll tell you how to see this in a chart with the example so that you can understand. But before that, let's see what each planet represents. Each planet represents a particular form of God. So there are two forms, in the form of male and in the form of female, goddess. So if in the chart, let's suppose Venus and Moon are very profound. Let's suppose Venus and Moon are influencing 5th and 9th house or the ascendant in birth, Navamsha and D20. Then what does it state? Then majorly a female deity, a female form of God is very important for the person. Okay. And let's suppose Sun, Mars, Jupiter are very powerful. Then a masculine form, male form of God becomes very important for the person. So that is the one thumb rule. But now, what are the planets and how they represent various forms, that we'll see. So we'll start with the sun. So sun, in terms of God, it represents Shiva and Ram. So Shiva and God Ram. So if sun is like alone, or sun is becoming the major controller, and it is in relation with Mercury, or it is in relation with the, not Mercury, mainly with the moon or the Saturn, then it becomes Shiva or alone. So Shiva. And Ram, let's suppose it sun is with Jupiter, sun is with Mercury, then Rama, because Jupiter represents Rama, Vishnu. Okay. So Shiva and Ram. Goddess, it represents two Devis, one is Matangi and another is Savitur Gayatri. So Gayatri mantra which is there, that is of sun, Savitur Gayatri, Ved Mata Gayatri, giver of knowledge of Vedas. So that Devi and Matangi, a tantric form of Saraswati. Then moon. Moon represents most of the time female goddesses, but in male god it is Krishna primarily. So whenever moon is in relation with Jupiter and Mercury in the chart, and it is making very good yogas, then it can show natural devotion towards Krishna. Many people are Krishna devotees. So you will see that if a person has a natural serious faith, devotion towards Krishna, moon, Jupiter, Mercury, three planets will be very profound. Jupiter is Vishnu, Mercury is Vishnu, moon is the form of Krishna, Vishnu's incarnation in the form of Krishna. So that is moon. Now goddess, if you see, moon primarily represents goddess. So Adya Shakti, the divine form which has created everything. So the Shakti of the Brahma which has created everything. And it is the concept in every religion, not just Hinduism, every religion, the divine feminine, which we call as divine feminine. And that is moon, moon and Venus together, Adya Shakti. But in the female forms, moon represents soft, motherly like goddesses, not fierce goddesses, but motherly like soft goddesses. Radha, Bhuvaneshwari, Parvati, they are the controllers of moon, represented by moon, female goddess. Then you see Mars. Now Mars, in God, Mars is a masculine planet. Most of the time we'll see Hanuman, Kartikeya and Rudra. Mars and Saturn, if they are in relation, then most of the time it will show worship of Hanuman, Kartikeya, Rudra. Then goddess, if you see, it is Bagula Mukhi. She is a tantric devi, but whose worship is not done until and unless you don't have a diksha in it. But yes, it shows Bagla Mukhi in the form of female goddess. Then Mercury. Mercury primarily represents Vishnu and Ganesha. So Vishnu and Ganesh. Ganesh is the god of intelligence, buddhi, and Vishnu. So Mercury is that. Then Mercury, in form of goddess, it represents Saraswati and Tripura Sundari. Saraswati again is the goddess of intellect, buddhi. Then all arts, all the arts, music, writing, singing, everything. And Tripura Sundari is the divine feminine. Venus, Moon and Mercury together represent Tripura Sundari. She is the divine feminine, which is the source of every creation. She has taken various forms of the Devis to create. That is Tripura Sundari. Mercury, Venus and Moon collectively represent it. Then Jupiter. Jupiter shows Vishnu mainly. If Jupiter is profound, blindly just say that main god is Vishnu. Then goddess is Tara. Tara is a tantric devi. Again, the worship is not done until and unless you don't have a formal diksha by a guru. But Jupiter, and if the yogas for the Tantra Marg are present in the chart, then we can say that okay, the person can move towards Tara worship. Very good, Jupiter. Then Venus. Venus represents, first of all, Venus is a female planet, so mainly it is goddess. But if you look at the gods, so it represents Shiva and Parashuram. So Parashuram is an incarnation of Vishnu, but Shiva, and Shiva mainly it will be the mantra of Mrityunjaya. So Venus, if it is profound, like Sun and Venus are together, so it shows what? Shiva, worship of Shiva is excellent, but mainly the mantra of Mahamrityunjaya, because Shukracharya, who is the main deity of Shukra, and he did tapasya, he did austerities, penance for 20 years, and then he got the boon from Shiva, and he was the main rishi who had the capability to revive the dead, Mrita Sanjeevani Vidya. So Mrityunjay, Mahamrityunjay mantra becomes very important. People who have Venus importantly placed, they should read Mahamrityunjay. But mainly Venus is female, Moon just like Moon, so it shows Adya Shakti, Tripura Sundari and Lakshmi. Lakshmi, the goddess of various kinds of wealth, not just only money. Ashta Lakshmis are there. So Tripura Sundari, Lakshmi and Adya Shakti, but any form of Devi. Technically Venus and Moon represents any form of Devi, particularly the form of Devi which is somewhat soft in nature, not fierce goddesses. Then another is Saturn. Now Saturn, if you look at the male masculine aspect, then it is Mahakala, Rudra and Hanuman. So Shiva in the form of Mahakala, who is beyond time, who eats time. Rudra and Hanuman. Hanuman is also the Rudra avatar. Goddess is Ma Kali. Kali is the main goddess for Saturn. Then Rahu. For Rahu, you see the main deity is Shiva. Main Ishta Devata is Shiva. And the Devi is Durga and Chinnamasta. So Durga is easier to worship. Durga is very good to worship. She is the Adya Shakti also. But Chinnamasta is another deity which is a proper tantric Ugra Devi, very fierce, very ferocious. Nobody can worship Chinnamasta until and unless you don't have a formal diksha by a guru or from a siddha in your life. But Rahu represents it. There are worshippers of Chinnamasta also. So who represents it? Rahu represents it. Then Ketu. Ketu is Ganesha, because Ketu does not have a head. So it represents a god which don't have the head of normal human head. So there are various kinds of gods there, but most profound is God Ganesha. Like Mercury and Ketu are together. Worship Ganesha, very important. Goddess is Dhumavati. Again, she is the very ferocious tantric devi. Can't worship without a proper formal mantra diksha from a siddha guru. But yes, people who are worshippers, Ketu will be very profound in their charts. So these are the planets which represent various forms of God that we saw. Now we will apply this concept in a chart, that how you have to assess that a particular person can worship a particular form of God. Okay, so this is the chart of Swami Ram Krishna Paramhansa. He was the guru of Swami Vivekananda, and he was the Siddha of Kali. Direct, I'll say, it was the direct realization and vision of Kali to him throughout life. So why he was obsessed with Kali, and why did he worship only Kali, and he got the Siddhi of Kali. So first of all, we'll see three charts: the birth chart, Navamsha chart, and D20. So what were the rule? See certain planets. What are the planets? Atma Karak, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Lord, and Jupiter. You have to see them. So who is the natural Atma Karak? Natural Atma Karak is Sun. But who is the Atma Karak in his case? Mars. Okay. Now see that Mars in the birth chart is exalted in 12th house. 12th house is the house of Moksha Trikona. Okay. House of emancipation, enlightenment, liberation, mumukshutva, everything. And in Navamsha chart, Mars is Ascendant Lord, Lagna Lord in 9th house. And in Neech Bhanga, in Parivartan with 9th Lord, very well placed. So don't confuse that it is debilitated, so it is bad. No, it is very excellent here. So it is very good. Next, to Atma Karak is strong. Now, Sun is strong because Sun is in the Ascendant, although it is in Aquarius. But here, don't confuse. Sun is bad for his health. But Sun is not, and for the conventional marital life. But understand that Sun is excellent for Siddhi. Sun in Aquarius, particularly Sadvisha, excellent combinations are present in terms of spiritual life. It gives a deep insights and direct vision of God. Okay, so that is Sun here. Next year will be Moon and Sun are together with 5th Lord Mercury. So 5th house Lord is in the Ascendant, Ascendant Lord is in the 9th, and Ascendant Lord is Saturn, which is exalted in 9th. In Navamsha, Saturn is in own sign. Then Jupiter is looking at the Ascendant, looking at the Ascendant Lord, looking at Sun and Moon. Okay, so all the planets, Sun, Moon, Ascendant Lord, Jupiter, they are strong. Atma Karak is strong. And same thing in Navamsha, Lagna Lord in 9th, just like the birth chart. In Parivartan with 9th Lord, Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury in Kendra. 4th house is the house of Moksha Trikona. Then 9th Lord here is exalted. Venus is exalted. So the yogas in both the charts are very powerful for spiritual life. Excellent. And same thing in D20. Vimshamsha. 9th Lord in the Ascendant, Venus and Moon together. Lagna Lord and 12th Lord Saturn in 12th house, which was also the Lagna Lord in the birth chart. So Saturn is very powerful here. And again in 12th house of detachment, virakti, sannyasa, bhakti, and mainly samadhi, mainly the darshan, the enlightenment which we say, moksha. Then 5th Lord Mercury is in 9th. So in his case, he was the bhakta of Kali, devotee of Kali. Why Kali only? So first of all, see that in his case, the profound influence of Venus and Moon. So 9th house, 5th and 9th house I said. So 5th and 9th house are the main house of the Ishta Devata. So in his case, see the 9th Lord. 9th Lord is exalted. Who is powerful among 5th and 9th? Venus, because Venus is 9th Lord exalted. And here if you will see who is 9th Lord in Navamsha, Moon, again a female planet. Here who is 9th Lord? Venus, again in conjunction with Moon, female planet. So Venus, Moon are influencing the 9th house in all three charts, D1, D9, D20. So female form of God becomes very profound. And there are various female forms. In his case, it is Kali. Who represents Kali? Saturn. Saturn is in 9th. Here, Saturn is looking at the 9th Lord. Here, Saturn is again looking at the 9th house, and the 9th Lord is in the Rashi of Saturn. Saturn is the Ascendant Lord. Saturn is the form of Kali. It represents Kali. So he had natural inclination towards Kali, obsession towards Kali. And he got direct Siddhi of Kali in his life. So why that is in his case, that we can see. He had later on got the direct formless Samadhi also, which we call the Nirvikalp Samadhi, given by Kali herself through the medium of his Guru Totapuri. But that was later in life. That was when he got the knowledge of Advaita, Vedanta. And Advaita Vedanta is seen from Sun and Mercury. So they are very well placed in Lagna and D20. But in his case, we can see that why he was naturally influenced with the form of Kali only in his life. Okay, so this is how you have to calculate the Ishta Devata, and what was the significance, and what Ishta Devata is, that we have discussed. So that is all from my end. I hope you like this video. If you are new to my channel, subscribe below for more Facebook posts, reels, and other information and knowledge. You can connect on my Facebook page, Instagram, and website. Their links are given in description. Else we'll meet in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.